Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, I want to show you some of my latest acquisitions in terms of products I just got in. One thing I was lacking for in my pendulum supplies was wood pendulums. And one of the best pendulums for picking up subtle type force energies has always been the use of rosewood, which has been something that radionic practitioners have talked about for years. Some people even have stick plates in the older machines that were made out of rosewood. Now, wood is a slight conductor of electromagnetic because wood is filled with water. So it is a conductor, even though a relatively poor one, but it certainly still is a conductor. Now, I just got these in. They seem to be very well made. We're going to be offering these for sale with plates, and I'm going to show you what you want to do with them in general. But they're very nice. They come in all sorts of different sizes. We will take these apart out of their packages here. Here's the first one that seems to be attached fairly well here. And they're a good size. And you want to have good size pendulums. And some people say, oh, well, that's bad because they're big, they're heavy. Well, they're wood, they're not heavy. But obviously, if you're picking up energies, the bigger it is, the better, because you're going to be able to grasp more of those energies. You're going to flow into the tool and you'll be able to react to it. Now, if this was a large thing, like this one over here, oops, let's get this, oops, pulled that in properly here. If you have this one here, which is very large, now this is very heavy. And of course, heavy pendulums can be easier to use as well. It depends how your energies, your personal energies are at that particular time, what you're doing, etc. But, we're trying to move away from anything metal unless it's really metal. But here's a fascinating 7 metal one, which is very powerful for creating energies. And we'll get into all those pendulum uses that are past just detecting energies. But what's nice is when you have that, and these are all pretty good sizes, which means they can pick up the energy, and they're very light. So it doesn't hurt your arm. It isn't difficult to sense energies with, because as what's usual in life, particularly males like to have big, heavy stuff, but that's kind of stereotypical, and women don't want to be the physical muscle thing of that. But what you're doing here is you're getting the best of both worlds, and rosewood is very excellent for sensing force energies, as we call them now. So now what do you do? Like everything you get, and we should go over that, and I should do that more. Also, here's my new pendulum stand. You can get these kind of little holders here pretty much anywhere for very low cost, and you can tie your pendulum on there. And then what you would do would be to hold it over. Now, this is where it gets difficult. And as I said, I'm not going to try and get something to move while I'm on camera here. I can't concentrate properly. But you hold it over something. So if you want to test the actual, and you touch the line here. But what you're doing here is when you do this, you tend to take this kind of movement out of it, meaning you forcing it. So, and these things have to be adjusted. We'll go into that when we talk about this specific way of using things. But this is a way of holding something over, as I showed you before. And we're going to have several of these tools so that you can then kind of use it more as a meter. And while your energies need to go into it, this is a way of getting your spins and so forth without influencing it from this kind of involuntary action. Now, like everything, the first thing you do is you check the actual spin of something. Again, clockwise is good. It means it's good. It's yes. Counterclockwise is bad, negative, which is the easiest way to test things. Back and forth means neutral. So, and you will occasionally find that. depending on what the tool is. But generally, that's how you test everything. The back and forth movements, which you read in all the books and stuff, is a very bad way of doing things and very unprecise. The other thing with spinning, as I've done a video on this, is you can tell how strong it is. If something is really spinning, that means you're getting very strong energies. So it's a great way to test everything in the way that you should. And that's the professional way to do it, by the professional in the industry, myself, with 50 years of experience, 35 books written, and a person who has engineered, sold these things for many years. The first person to ever have a radionic store in the entire planet. The first organization to translate all ancient, particularly magical text into English. That's me, baby. Okay. So what you always do is you hold it over it, and you want to get it going back and forth like this. It just makes things happen. Now, is this positive clockwise, negative counterclockwise, or is this neutral? So we're getting a good little clockwise spin, saying the energy coming from these generally is good. And that's what you always test. Now, the other thing you want to do is you always, when you get something, you want to clear them and empower them. And there's basically 3 plates for this. Here's your clearing plate that clears everything. And we're going to have several of these. And these, of course, what you're seeing here are examples. What you get, this is already changed. We had a little typo here, and I've changed this, but I've also changed the energy design in it, as we usually do. This is going to be changed probably in the future as well. So these are examples. What you get will be the latest and greatest. So you have a clearing plate. You have a general clearing and amplifying plate. So you put that at the bottom, you put that on top. And of course, then you have your tachyon plate. And most of the plates that we're doing now always have these codes in them. So here's the tachyon code, here's the neutrino, and here's the graviton actual rate codes. So everybody gets it. So what you want to do is you want to, of course, you unwrap everything, then you want to put them on here. So these are all nicely wrapped. As I said, we're going to be selling these with the plates here very soon. You can check that online on our dowsing page, where we have all sorts of things. We're going to be placing all the things on there. As I said, we want to move away from metals unless you need a metal one. And of course, what you're doing here is, if there's any residual negative energy in there for anything, we've already tested it. It's basically positive, but a lot of people have handled this, and everybody really is negative. So in terms of everybody's messed up, dude. So the whole idea is that we have to understand that. Here's the other one. You can see how beautiful these are. They're very well made. They're carved well. They've been they have a lacquer or some sort of finish over it. The chains are very nice. They're good. The chains are good. Sometimes you get chains that are very, very cheap and very thin, and these tend to get caught up and are difficult. These are nice, good-sized chains, so it means they don't tangle as well. And you can see the different size, the different shapes. Every one of these does have a slightly different effect depending on what you want to use them for in particular. They all come individually wrapped. Again, here's another nice shape. And they're all very well finished. They're very nice. We're also going to have some gemstone ones and a few other types, and a new chakra device that we'll be offering as well. And these are, all of this stuff is made by a particular manufacturer for us. We have them do special little processes for these. And these come from India. But you're getting the all-important plates and everything else from us. So it's nice to have these, and this gives you a great variety here for a very good price for all this stuff. And if you like gem stuff, and you know, these are your tools. They're not expensive. You're going to keep them forever. And you never know. You're going to use different types of pendulums as your energy changes, as you get older, and so forth. Here's another very classical design, these kind of spheres here, half a sphere. This comes from a lot of, here we go, spheres. This comes from ancient Egyptian designs of energy, etc. So there's lots going on here that you may not know about because you're not familiar with the shapes. Now, shapes are important for picking up energies. And we're going to have many different pendulums as we evolve into even more. And here again, you've got these spheres that tend to grab energy. And of course, you remember pendulums are for sensing, which is what we use them mostly for, energy fields. But they also can be used to connect and project energies. We're going to talk about all that, which is rarely used. I don't use those that much. But it's something that everyone should know about and use as well. So pendulums can be used to project and send energy as well as sense. So that's important to understand. And of course, they are kind of our meters. This are the new meters that we use for our practices. And we're going to develop these into higher and higher meters. But you are the meter. You're the battery. You're everything when it comes into these realities. Because you are the conduit to higher sense energies, divine energies, high-level energies. This doesn't come from a computer or a machine, and we don't give our power away to nameless, dumbless pieces of mineral dirt or toxins that so many computers are, or some program that was made by some goofball computer scientist. Yeah, dots and dashes is our own. So the whole idea is that we have to understand this as a bigger picture. You're the ultimate channel. Now, you must understand that as a human being living in this reality of hell, you do not have the capacity to generate huge amounts of energy personally. You are a conduit. You draw energies from the cosmos or from wherever it comes from, usually from the universal source of energy of the universe, and particularly of the Earth plane here, which is unique because space is dead, people. It's nothing but filled with radioactive energies. How nice. Let's leave Earth and get radioactive. What fun. So the whole idea is that we don't have to leave Earth. We can just go to Fukushima where they're dumping all the water into the ocean. Thank you, sushi eaters. So the whole idea is that you are the conduit. You channel the energies. So to disregard yourself and to give your power up to some sort of garbage technology invented by some brainwashed stooge, computer scientist person is not. They are tools to assist you, and we value and praise them for that. They are not our equals, our superiors, or anything else. Yes, I don't want to do tasks all the time. So I use, and I don't want to add numbers up. I'm going to use a calculator. That's right. That's an idiot task, and we should allow the idiots to do that, otherwise known as computer programmers or programs or the programmers. The dumb people like Bill Gates, the internet's is nothing. It's garbage. Never go nowhere. Thank you, Billy. So the whole idea is that's how all these things work, and we all need to understand that in the bigger picture. So what you do is you take, and no matter what you get, you're going to do this process to it. You check it and find out if it. So there's no problems here. So we don't really have to leave these on here that long. What I usually do when I first get a product is I tend to leave it on overnight. So you stack your discs up like this. And as I said, with our sets, you're going to get all these discs as part of this. Which is a great value unto itself. I mean, the discs themselves cost, if you were to buy them individually, can cost anywhere from $75 to $100 or more. But you're going to get these cleansing discs. There's 3 of them with the actual package. There's also, we're going to be selling the actual crystals. And a very important thing, since everybody's having horrible chakra problems, they're not flowing, we're going to have a new chakra tool that you will be using, and we're going to show you how to use it as well. So this is a great tool, and again, it's something that's very affordable. We're trying to do that for everybody. Certainly having the advanced cells and everything else, which are lifetime tools, are highly recommended. Get this stuff now, use it now, so you don't have to be a sick, failure, depressed victim in the future. But you do have to get involved and fight back. We are here to help you, and you need to participate in your own success. Okay, now, so that's what you do. You let them sit here. It's cleared. Once you've done that, they're cleared. They're perfectly fine to use. We recommend that you get something like this. Again, these are available anywhere. They're little pyramid stands. We're going to talk about this very special actual pendulum there. This is a very important pendulum, which we'll talk about for other things. But the bottom line is that anytime you're dowsing in general, you have to know what kind of energy. Now, if you're going to be dowsing for electromagnetic energy or something that has magnetic energy in some fashion, it could be water, and water has a resonance of electromagnetism to it. This is why this is such a complicated art form as well, is the fact that you're going to use that. So if you're in the electromagnetic spectrum, you're going to be using something that's probably metal. If you're going to be radionic based, tuning a machine, you want to use something that's not metal. You could use something that is a crystal, but crystals and stones hold certain energies. The best thing probably to use, and this is what we're going to be moving over, you either use plastic, and I know, horrible. I've always hated plastic. This is kind of plastic beads. This is a cool little, very rare. You can't get these. But we're moving into the wood now for use with radionic tuning or plastic. We were using these, and still this is an excellent general one. If you like metal and you want to use this as a general one, you can. But we're recommending now that we move over to the wood and that we move over to plastic. But I prefer wood. Wood has a great earth energy to it. Rosewood is a wood that has been valued by force energy physics practitioners for 100 years. As I said, it's considered to be very sensitive, particularly for, quote, radionic practitioners. We're trying to get away from that term. Basically manifesting machines, but everybody knows radionics until he gets you back into thinking properly. And of course, the shapes matter, and you have to find out what works better for you because, again, you're intermixing with these energies. This is a very classic type. And again, when you have this half circle here, these are energy conductors that have been used for centuries. And there's different types, there's different sizes. Here's a real big one. Maybe you like that. Maybe you need that to start off with. And it depends on what you're actually dowsing out. Your typical radionic pendulum, I would use a very large one. This is probably the largest of the group. And again, they're very light. So the problem with large used to be meaning heavy. This is wood. It's rosewood, very sensitive. So this kind of stuff, while it's big and allowing you to suck a lot of energy into it for sensing or projecting it out because it's so big and it's grabbing all those energies, compared to something that is really small, like something, what is this over here? Something like this, which is really small, you're not picking up the most, or something like this, which is a nice clear quartz crystal, but it's very small. Look at the difference. And you're talking about large differences here, and that means a larger area to pick up energies with. And if it's not cumbersome, meaning it's heavy, which a lot of people don't like, but sometimes can be very good, particularly for starters, something that's really heavy like this. A lot of beginners like that. In some ways, you can sense energies greater with something heavy as well. But if it's not, because this is just a fun shape, but something that has a good shape like this, or even, these are all good. I mean, I like this too as well. I'm going to find out which one of these works best for me. Another good, but look at how nice the size is here compared to, here's the one I was just using to test with. Look at the difference here. Now, since it's light, you're better off getting a large area that you can actually sense energies with. So very important and to understand that. And pendulums are your key. If you can't work with pendulums, you're not going to be able to tune your instruments well, plain and simple. You're not going to be able to sense things. These are your meters. And we're going to have some more sophisticated meters like this here in the future. And we're going to have several. But there are no meters to pick this up, not because they can't be made, but because it takes a fortune to do the research. You have to spend a lot of time, and it takes a huge amount of time and work and to do all of it. Well, the actual process may not be all that expensive, but that can be expensive too as well if you want to test everything. But the bottom line is meters could be made for all of this stuff. But the bottom line is that these meters are not available right now. And we don't have something you just click on. But, don't get caught up in that. Again, you're getting caught up in the electromagnetic nonsense, the garbage, the bullpucky. We got to move away from that. And let's stop giving credit to computerized electromagnetic tools that really are certainly helpful in life. I certainly don't want to give up my refrigerator or me stove or so many other things. Me fan to keep me cool. My air conditioning. So we certainly don't want to give that stuff up, but we don't want to give this a praise higher than it deserves as a primitive-based energy form that all these items run on electricity that triggers their components to do a particular act, like cool, like a refrigerator does. And certainly that's all we've been able to figure out right now. Ancient societies did not use the electromagnetic. I'm still looking for the power cord on a pyramid. They're not there. Yet these shape-form structures produce huge amounts of energy. So we're stuck in what is the simplistic. And of course, the troops of Napoleon, who invaded Egypt at one time, did note that there were lights inside of these buildings that were working off of what apparently... And we all need some sort of meter, but we got to understand that we're not dealing with these crude, primitive, low energy, evil human being realities that everyone wants to live in because it gives them primitive, ignorant answers, if you can call them it. It really gives you an illusion. The ultimate functioning certainly isn't in these ridiculous technologies that we use today, such as the great advanced electric car, which is over 150 years old, by the way, that technology, or certainly generating energy through primitive, dangerous, super dangerous nuclear power, which would pretty much destroyed our planet so we could run our toothbrushes. How nice. So, if we continue to live in these primitive, backward, evil thinking, which we probably are anyway, we are a doomed species of low consciousness people that really only care about and put their money into what matters for us, which is murder and destruction. There's billions of dollars for military, yet we can't build houses, we can't pay for medications for our people. This is the kind of thinking that gives you the kind of crap technology that we have now. Just keep that in mind. Watch for all the new products coming out, the new disc and everything. This system is being developed very fast, very powerful, very easy, and you'll be able to constantly adjust everything you get to the new energies that come out because it will be put into a energy disc that you'll be able to use with the machines you have. And very simple. Just get the new tech or whatever it is you want. You want to add tachyons and silver, but you got to clear things. That's what, of course, what this plate right here is about. You then want to energize it, and then you want to further clear and energize using that. So you get those three different plates with the actual whole system. Very important because everything you get is clogged and toxified to a degree. Even if you're not getting a negative spin here, which means that you'll have to clear things for a much longer period of time, or there's something wrong. So it's important to understand that. But a good spin like I got is not enough. You got to energize it and clear it. Hope that's been helpful. More soon. Remember, there is no reality until the Manifesting Scientist creates it.